My name is Grace, and today I'm going to continue reading the book Who Was Pablo Picasso? Chapter 2 The Young Artist. Pablo moved back to Barcelona when he hung out with a bunch of artists, poets, and writers at a cafe called Escregat, the Four Cats. They named themselves modern artists. In 1900s, Pablo had his first one-man show in a cafe. There was more than 50 portraits of friends and family and other 60 or so drawings and paintings. One painting was of a priest at the bedside of a dying woman. It was accepted for a show at the World's Fair in Paris. It was all Pablo needed an excuse to move to Paris. An old art school friend, Carlos Casillas, went with him. Carlos and Pablo had no money. Their apartment had no furniture or art. Pablo painted furniture and so Pablo painted furniture and bookcases on the walls. That it didn't look so bare. He even painted a safe on the wall if they had valuable things put in it. But the apartment didn't matter. They were in Paris. It was the center of the art and fashion world. Paris was full of life. And Pablo was full of energy. He was seeing the art of Monet, Nicolas, Cezanne, Van Gogh, Godwin, Toulouse, Reich. Paris was so colorful, and soon so were Pablo's paintings. For 2 months, he painted Paris scenes. He sold 3 pastels of bullfights. But that was encouraging. Pablo loved Paris, but poor Carlos was broken-hearted. His girlfriend had left him. So Carlos and Pablo moved back to Pablo's hometown in Spain. Pablo's family did not like what they saw when they walked in the door. The way he was dressed and his long hair. They were sure he was wasting his life. So Pablo moved to Madrid. He helped start an art magazine. He did political cartoons for the magazine about the sorry state of the poor. He left behind his friend Carlos, who was still terribly depressed and difficult to be around. Soon, Carlos Casillas returned to Paris. He at wit's end. First, he tried to shoot his old girlfriend. Then he shot himself and died. Pablo was in shock. He may have also felt guilty about leaving his friend in such a bad shape. Carl's death affected Picasso's painting. He painted 2 dark funeral scenes with 2 death portraits of Carlos. Then he began painting with the color blue. Pablo said, "It was thinking of Casamigos made me start painting blue." He did a self-portrait in 1901 that was mostly in blues. It made him look very sad. Later this time became known as Picasso's Blue Period. From 1901 to 1904, Pablo moved back and forth between Barcelona and Paris. He lived in cheap hotel rooms and run-down apartments. Pablo shared one apartment with Max Jacob, a poet. They could only afford 1 bed, so Pablo slept it during the day, and Max slept in it at night. Pablo worked at night, a habit that continued for the rest of his life. Because he often couldn't afford to buy canvases and paints, Pablo did lots of drawings. His subjects were beggars, blind people, lonely people, and prisoners. Pablo cared about these people. For models, he visited a women's prison in Paris. All his life, Pablo loved painting women. It was 1903. In only a little over a year, Pablo did 50 paintings using tones of blue and green. No one bought them. People didn't want to put such depressing pictures on their walls. Pablo's dad and a lot of friends were sure Pablo was headed in the wrong direction with his strange blue painting. But did Pablo listen? No, he did what he wanted. Chapter 3 Life in Paris. What made Pablo snap out of his blue period? Moving back to Paris, his town for good, was one cause. Lively Paris worked its magic on Pablo. He became happier. He started doing colorful paintings, such as jugglers and acrobats in a traveling circus. They were outsiders to society, just like the people he had painted in the blue period. The other reason that his blue period ended was Pablo had a new girlfriend. She was a beautiful artist named Ferran Oliver. His happiness showed in his paintings. This time in Pablo's life is sometimes called the rose period, but his paintings have many colors, not just pinks. Pablo and Ferran lived in a big, rundown apartment during that was full of artists and poets. The room was damp and a mess with lots of projects going on. Pablo didn't like to throw out anything. He said, "Why would you want me to throw away that has done me the favor of coming into my hands?" They had a big yellow dog named Frika, and they kept a pet white mouse in a dresser drawer. Pablo liked to work at night by the oil lamp. He often worked until 5 or 6 in the morning. In winter, the room was sometimes so cold that leftover cups of tea froze overnight. Around this time, Pablo was meeting lots of interesting people in Paris. I thought he was interesting too. He was intense, complicated, and could be very charming, and his curiosity, energy, intellect, and originality caught people's attention. Despite of being short, only 5 feet 3 inches tall, he was very striking looking with piercing black eyes. He met a rich American woman named Gertrude Stein, and her brother Leo Gertrude was a poet. She had written the famous line, "Rose is a rose is a rose." She was one of the first people to appreciate Pablo's paintings and bought some of them. Poets and artists met at Stein's house in Paris on Saturday nights. Pablo made the painter Henri Matisse there. Pablo thought Matisse was the greatest painter of all time. All things considered, there's only Matisse. He once said, even though they were competitors, they became lifelong friends. After working on a portrait of Gertrude Stein, Pablo realized he didn't have to paint exactly what he saw, but he could paint what he imagined. This led to a turning point for Pablo. It was a turning point in the history of modern art. Pablo's shocking images or paintings. In 1907, Pablo painted the biggest painting he had ever done, 8 feet tall and 8 feet wide. It showed 5 women, one whose head looked like it was on backward. The painting was called Les Demoiselles at the Vigon. Everyone hated it. One critic said it was work of a madman. Pablo put it away and didn't show it again for 9 years. It was fun to get their attention, but his feelings were hurt. Today it has been called the first modern 20th century painting. Picasso had found a new way of seeing. There was one person who really liked Pablo's experimental style. He was an art gallery owner named J. Carwinlo. He became Pablo's art dealer and close friend. Another close friend was artist George Baquet. Picasso and Baquet found that they thought alike. They were both influenced by the paintings of Paul Cazin. For 5 years, Baquet and Picasso saw each other every day. They even went on vacation together. They worked together so closely that Pablo said at times they couldn't tell who had which painting. They would also look at each other's work and decide if a painting was finished. Baquet said that he and Picasso were like mountain climbers attached to the same rope. Pablo never worked so closely with another artist. Baquet and Picasso did still life paintings, landscapes, and portraits. They both used only a few colors and broke up objects in the paintings into cubes and geometric shapes. They were trying to paint the subjects from all sides at once, Pablo said. I paint objects as I think them, now I see them. Together they were inventing a new style, Cubism. Of all the important artwork that Pablo created in his life, it was Cubism that made him famous. Our people were shocked by Cubism, that never seen anything like it. But some people realized they like it. Pablo said, I know you're painting strange things, but the work seems a strange place to us. So that's chapter 2, 3, and also 4. And I will see you in chapter 5 and also 6. Bye.